Are food tours worth it in Banff? When should you take one? And what restaurant mistakes do visitors make when planning a trip to the Canadian Rockies? Today we're diving into Banff's food scene with a local expert who spends her days introducing visitors to some of the best food and drink experiences in town. Welcome to the Banff Travel Podcast, the podcast dedicated to helping you plan an unforgettable trip to Banff, Lake Louise, Jasper, Canmore, Yoho, and Kananaskis. I'm your host, Celine Brewer, a Canmore local and the founder of Travel Banff Canada, where I help thousands of travelers each year plan their adventures in the Canadian Rockies. My guest today is Joanna from Nibble Tours. Joanna has lived in the Bow Valley on and off since 1995 and is an avid traveler who seeks out food tours everywhere she goes. That passion inspired her to create Nibble Tours, where she introduces visitors to local favorites, hidden gems, and some seriously delicious food, while sharing stories about Banff along the way. In today's episode, we'll talk about Banff's food scene, what visitors often get wrong when choosing restaurants, why a food tour can be a great addition to your Banff itinerary, and some of Joanna's favorite local recommendations. Joanna, welcome. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I'm literally getting hungry just thinking about our conversation.
Yes.
Right? Talking about food.
I know. Food tours. It invokes something in you that makes you want to join and eat.
Yeah, it's certainly something that my family has started doing more and more as we travel as well. So I always get questions about restaurants in Banff, and we'll go through some questions, and in no way am I expecting you to give up your secrets for your tour. But if you can help people along, why they should join your tour, all of that. So first of all, can you tell me a little bit just about yourself and what led you to start Nibble Tours?
Sure. Well, one, I love food. Two, I love to travel. I've traveled a lot of the world, all of my life. I think I'm at 58 or 59 countries now. And one of the things that I love to do when I travel is to do food tours. And it actually only started just a few years ago. So I look back at all those countries that I could have explored, but food tours are they're a new thing, really, right?
Yeah,
So
for
I
sure.
love to travel. I keep a travel blog, and so I just thought, well, hey, does Banff have a food tour? And when I checked it out, the only one that was here was Eat the Castle at the Fairmont,
Yep,
and so
absolutely.
I started one, and I'm actually going into my third summer this year. So, it's a little exciting watching it grow.
That's amazing. Yeah, that I love that, that you started that up. You saw a place for that in Banff, and I bet the people who join your tours just love it. So what do you love most about running those food tours in Banff?
You know what? It's not like I have a set thing that I go here, then there, then there. It's different every day. It's almost like a challenge, a puzzle piece that, every day it's something new that we're putting together. I get to meet people from all over the world. I get to see them experience foods that they'd never even heard of, that they never even thought maybe they'd like. And especially I love seeing the faces on people when they try a Caesar for the first time.
I love a good Caesar.
Yes, it's a love or hate. It really is.
Fair. Um, yeah, and you know what? As a traveler yourself, I can see, that love for meeting new people, right? Because that's what you do. It's go to
Yeah.
other countries and experience that and meet new people. And so I can see how that fits. Can you describe some of the different tours that you offer?
Yeah, I actually do I offer a few tours. I do a breakfast tour at
Oh,
8:30
fun.
in the morning, and we try things, everything from like souffle pancakes to smoked salmon, eggs Benny. I do a Canadian tour, which focuses most on, things that are really special to Canada, like Timbits and Caesars and poutine
Love
and
that.
smoked salmon and maple syrup. I also do a Taste of Banff, which really focuses more on places around Banff that have been around for a long time. Some of the old legendary stories, things that kind of go along with that. Hidden gems, great stories like, you know, Banff specialties like the Shaft, for one. And also I do a sips and sweets tour in the evening, which is desserts and drinks.
I love that. Just covering all of the bases. I
Yes.
love breakfast, so that one has me like, "Ooh, that's exciting."
Yes, it's really good actually. There's a few it's not the most popular one because obviously a lot of people, they have better things to do at
Well,
8:30
they're
in the
getting up and
morning.
getting ready to go, right? Like,
Yes,
getting on with their day.
exactly.
So, yeah,
But the people that do join me, they end up trying new things that, special to Banff, right? So it's a
totally.
great way to experience Banff when it's and this is big, when it's less busy because we have the
Yeah.
streets almost all to ourselves at 8:30 in the morning.
Oh, absolutely. Like, that
Yeah.
town gets so busy, right? So having an opportunity to not have Banff Ave, full of people is
And
really
on
nice. And
the on the really sunny days, we'll walk along the Bow River and we sit
oh,
down at a
so
picnic
nice.
table and I've got a few things packed that they can try. It's just great.
I love that. That sounds really amazing. So for someone who has never heard of Nibble Tours before, what can they expect? You've kind of like talked about it, some of the stories going by the river. Is there anything else that they should expect from the tour?
Well, you know what? For people that, have never done a food tour before, and this is what I hear from people most often as is that it's a great way to get a lay of the land. Like, if you do it in the
Yes.
first day or two that you're here, you learn where things are. I don't just go to places and have something to eat. I also recommend other places.
Mhm.
I point out places they may want to go later for dinner or the next day so they really get an idea. And so it's not only just fabulous food and fun stories, but there's indigenous history, Banff history, Canadian history, and on top of all that, we get to eat, so come hungry, right?
Perfect. That's exactly what we did. So we went to Seoul in South Korea a couple of years ago and we had landed, we were jet lagged, but we decided because we had time like that following day, let's do a food tour. Because one, I don't know the best food. And, that
Yeah.
same idea, that walking tour, and we used those things that he told us for the whole rest of our trip. Like we knew what to look for, we knew where to go, we knew all of that. So even in a place like Banff, that is, obviously much smaller, you still have so many of those things that they can get recommendations from a local. So that's,
Yeah,
that's,
and
I'm sure
you know
people
what?
love that.
It's true for me. I'm the same as everybody else. A lot of people keep calling me a foodie, and I say I'm more of a food tour guide than a foodie
Yeah,
because I'm the same. If I get somewhere somewhere new, I scan the menu for what I know. I'm very hesitant
totally.
to branch out and try something that I have no idea if I'll like it or not, or even any idea what it is. So it takes me out of that comfort zone when I do a food tour because I experience and try new things, right? So
Yeah, and
yeah.
like you said, food tours are fairly new. They like, maybe in the past, like maybe up to 5 years that we've really started to see them as we
Yeah.
travel more and more. And like, what a great way to start. So I always say to people, like, when you get someplace new, at least what our family does is we'll start with something like a food tour, or we'll start with something kind of related, but like going up to some place like Tunnel Mountain or the Banff Gondola, like up high where you can kind of get this overview because you're like everything is new, everything is different, and getting that perspective of, an overview of the town and where things lay and like what restaurants are good and what should you eat, right? Like it just sets you up so well for the rest of your trip.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So who would you say and tends to enjoy your tours the most?
Everybody, you know
Of
what?
course, of course.
Anybody anybody who comes with an open mind and an open
Yeah,
palate, uh, you know, obviously, not everybody is gonna leave 100%, satisfied. You always have people with intolerances or people
totally. Yeah.
that won't even try things, they don't like them. But, for the most part, everyone's there for the same reason, right?
Yep.
They've whether they've done food tours before or it's their first time. I love people that it's their first time because I'm like, "Oh, like, let's raise the bar. Like, let's make this the best food tour you've ever done and,
Yep.
show you what it's really all about."
I think you just like hit the nail on the head, right? Like open mind, going into it, just willing to try things and, experiencing it. So, um, what do you think makes dining in Banff unique compared to other destinations?
Well, you know what? A few places in the world offer the chance to enjoy a meal while surrounded by the dramatic peaks of the Canadian Rockies,
Absolutely.
obviously. You know what? Like many of the restaurants in Banff, they feature, mountain views, rooftop patios, cozy lodge style atmospheres that enhance the entire dining experience. So, when I'm choosing where we're gonna go, I'm choosing someplace that's either been around Banff for a very long time or they offer a specific thing that's, unique to the area. So, you know what, it's all about the experience of being in Banff.
I think everything tastes better in the mountains,
I do too, especially outside on a rooftop patio and stuff.
right? On a
Yeah.
sunny day, if we get a
And
sunny day.
you're walking, so it's exercise mixed with indulgence, right? I
Absolutely.
always say
Yes.
that when we get to the stairs. I'm like, "Okay, everyone, this is your chance to work off that fudge. Like, let's go."
Absolutely. Um, so you already kind of hit on like which restaurants and food experiences that you feature and how you decide which ones of
Yeah.
those, which, obviously anything that's unique and that people won't get anywhere else, great views, that kind of stuff. What do you think surprises the guests most during the tour?
Many many things. Can I plug a few places? Am I
Absolutely.
yeah,
If you're
okay,
willing
you
to
know what?
share, I don't want to take
Yeah,
away your secrets,
absolutely.
but if you're willing to share,
No,
that's amazing.
and even by saying this, my tours are always different, so I
Yeah.
never commit to one place. I've found, for example, if there's kids on my tour and the first thing they say is, "Are we going to Beaver Tails?" And if I say yes and I get to Beaver Tails and there's an hour and a half lineup, I can
Absolutely.
I can't commit. I can't stand in that lineup, right? So I never really commit. Things we pivot, but
Yep.
things that people love, the rooftop of the Rose and Crown. It's
Yeah.
super unique, or it's well, not really unique. It's just a hidden gem. People wouldn't really know about it, and the views, the panoramic views from up there, blow people away. The history of the Grizzly House.
Yep.
Everyone always loves that. The best poutine, I think, in Banff is at Aardvark. Aardvark's been around for 36 years. It's just a little hole in the wall, right? But it's a local's favorite. What else really impresses the taste of real 100% grade A maple syrup.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because it's like, wow, this is nothing like Aunt Jemima.
Totally.
And my personal favorite that I already mentioned is how a drink made with clam juice can be so delicious.
Right? Funny
So
thing. So when I was growing up, that was aside from Caesars, which my mom loved Caesars, but on a hot summer afternoon after my parents were done working in the garden, it was always a beer and clam. That
yeah,
is always what they drank, right?
yeah.
And I remember growing up and being like, I liked Clamato juice, but I was like, beer and clam. But as I got older, I definitely found an appreciation for a good cold beer and clam at the end of the day.
Well, see, the crazy
So,
thing is, and I always say to people that, turn their nose up at it, I'm like, we
yeah,
drink 470 million of them in Canada. We're not wrong. We're not
not
wrong.
wrong. Trust those Canadians. Uh, okay. So we already talked about ideal point during your Banff vacation. You already touched on that. Um, what are your tours best suited for couples, families, solo travelers? I know it's always different, so you probably tailor it to who you have on the tour, but
Well, I do have to tailor it sometimes. I always ask ages because then I
yeah,
know who is a minor. I also
for sure.
know who can maybe tackle stairs because there's a lot of stairs in Banff for, rooftop patios. I also ask intolerances. If everyone hates seafood and fish, we're not going for salmon. There's vegetarians, and of course, there's a lot of things out in today, like gluten free, dairy
Yeah.
free. So I do have to. I have it. It's like a puzzle piece every day. I have to put it together. But everybody's great. I've had I've had kids on the tour that don't want anything. All they want is a piece of cheese pizza. And I've had kids that will finish what everybody else isn't finishing. They're like, hand it over, we'll eat it. It's a great place if you're a solo traveler. I don't discriminate against solo travelers. They can come on, I'll take one person on the tour. But it's a great way to meet people.
Yep.
couples, older couples, retirees, younger, anyone, families.
Yeah.
I've had them
It
all.
good for everybody. I know that so my kids are 10 and 12, and as we do these food tours, I always really appreciate also, the guide or, to the food tour offering something up and talking them into trying it because I have
Yeah.
one kid who doesn't necessarily love to try new things and so it's such a great because it's always such a great experience. He feels a little bit bolder. He feels a little bit more interested in trying different things. And so, that really helps me even as we continue to travel. And anyway, so we're going to be in Singapore for a little bit this summer. And that is one thing that we already have planned is our food tour.
Well, see, it's funny because at the very beginning of every food tour, when I meet people, I always just go around once again and I ask if there's like any intolerances, any dietary restrictions, anything I should know about before we get there and we have the food in front of us. And a lot of times kids are like, I don't like bugs. And I'm like, oh, well, there goes the food tour. Like, we can't have bugs. We were going to eat bugs everywhere we go. So, Canadian cuisine, bugs.
Bugs. So you're in the
Yeah.
wrong
So,
country. It gets too cold here in the winter for bugs.
like,
I
not
do
even
also
like chocolate maple covered bugs, not even those. Like, no. So,
I do also love a guide who, engages so well with kids. It does make a huge difference. So your food
it's
tours
fun.
sound amazing. Okay. Couple more things. What are the biggest restaurant mistakes you think visitors make in Banff?
Uh, you know what? I don't I don't know if I'd call it a mistake because, what's right for you is not right for me.
Totally. That's
A
fair. Yeah.
lot of people, when I ask, if they've been in town for a day or two, I ask where they've eaten, right?
Yep.
And so many people say McDonald's.
Yeah.
And you know,
McDonald's does have a time and place. I will say that. Like, can't find
I
anything else
know,
for
but you're
breakfast
in
or
Banff.
totally.
You're in
Yes.
Banff, and and people will be like, nothing else was open. I'm like, Aardvark's is open till 4 a.m. Like, Eddie Burger is open until, like, why did you have to go to McDonald's?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? McDonald's aside, a lot of visitors kind of never venture a block or two off, like
Yes.
the main street, and they just get kind of they tend to veer towards, like I was saying, how I kind of look at the menu and I pick what I normally am
What they
used to.
know. Yeah.
They veer towards Starbucks, Subway, McDonald's, even Old Spaghetti Factory, and without being like, hey, this place looks kind of cool, let's go in here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And I think that's why exactly doing that food tour at the beginning is, opening up
yeah.
their minds a little bit to some of the other places.
But, head down the side streets,
Yeah,
get off that main strip, go and look for the other places too, They're out there.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what should guests know before booking or arriving for a tour?
What should they know? Well,
Like,
you know
should they
what?
bring anything? Should they, like we've kind of talked about what to expect. Is there anything else that
Well, I always encourage people to bring water, to bring their appetite. There's nothing worse for a food tour guide than hearing you just had a big
Yeah.
meal or
Don't eat before you go.
you arrive, and I always make a joke that nothing on my food tour has any calories, so I don't want to hear any I'm full, any I can't have another one. Yeah, come hungry, and I do fill you up. You're not gonna leave starving. It's funny because a lot of people come on my tour and they ask me to give them recommendations for dinner that night, and I do. I recommend a lot of our
Yeah.
restaurants along the way, but usually by the end of the tour, they've decided against going for dinner. So
Yeah, treat it like a meal, right? Like
it is a meal,
yeah,
Yeah,
it should
normally
replace a
you're
meal.
getting, like, yeah, you're getting three. I usually say three savory, three sweets, three sips.
Yeah.
Every once in a while it changes to four savory, two sweets. But you're getting food. You're getting full.
That's awesome. Okay, are there any questions that travelers rarely ask, but they should be asking before this? Like, is there anything that you're like, I wish people would just know more about this before they book the food tour?
No, there's you know what? I was thinking about that, and there's not really, at least nothing that really comes to mind that I'm like, gosh, I really wish they would just ask this question. Um, More often than not, they ask questions that have nothing to do with food.
Totally.
That I need to start writing some of them down. People, when you're their tour guide, they think you know everything.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
yep, I've been asked everything from geography to geology and and more. I've had some incredibly odd questions over the past 3 years, but nothing that I really walked away and been like, oh, I wish they'd asked this question.
Yeah. Well, I
Because
mean,
I
yeah, they
talk
have a
so much
local, right?
anyway. I don't give them a chance to ask. I'm just giving them all the
Talking the whole
information all
time.
the time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to hear too that they're taking advantage of having a local there. But as we know, even being locals, we don't necessarily know everything about everything
Oh,
here.
exactly. Exactly. Like I say, I'm not a geologist. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on how the mountains were formed. I'm not an expert in how the trees grow. But on my first season, I had somebody write a 5-star review, and in the review, they wrote, "Joanna knows everything about Canada." And I was like, "What?
No, 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 I don't.
No, no, no. I don't." Like, you're setting me up for failure.
Totally,
But
totally.
yeah.
That's funny.
So,
Um,
and maybe there were questions that, they wanted to ask, but maybe I'm kind of glad they didn't because what if I didn't know the answer? Fake it till you make it, I guess, right?
absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so just final question just about your food tours, and then we're gonna do a
Okay.
few fun rapid fire questions here. Um, is there anything else that you'd like people to know that we haven't covered that I've missed in all of this?
Well, absolutely. Food tours are fabulous. Even some of my friends, that haven't been on my food tour, at the very beginning when I started the business, they were confused because, like we say, food tours are kind of they're a new thing. But a lot of my friends were, asking, well, what's to prevent everyone from just going to that restaurant and
Yeah.
eating that thing? And I'm like, well, nothing. That concept is out there. That's what
Yep.
restaurants are. And so we don't go in and everybody gets a full meal. It's little bits and bites, and you try new things. Sometimes I go overboard and load everyone up a little bit too much, but
Well, that happens,
but
especially
yeah,
with something good.
it's food tours are fabulous. I do them everywhere. I've probably done about 35 or 40 around the world now, and yeah, highly recommend it.
Do you have a favorite one? I would love to know your favorite one.
I've had some. You know what? I did a really great one in my very first food tour was in Little Havana in Miami. And I did a really fabulous one in Kigali in Rwanda. Uh,
Yeah,
and I did one actually. I did a food tour in Singapore on a scooter, and it was like it
fun,
wasn't an electrical scooter. It was like an actual. And I thought, well, this will be fun. But I didn't
right?
realize how much work they were. And the next day, I suffered a little bit. I was walking like I was in a marching band. I
Well, that was to
but
burn the calories, right?
yes, I know. But yeah, it was like zooming, and of course you have to keep up with everybody, right? You don't
Yeah,
want to be the person lagging behind. So here I was, 50-year-old me trying to keep up with like these 20-year-olds on a scooter to go on a
totally.
food tour. But yeah,
I
it
bet you
was
did
it
great.
was it was fun. Yeah.
I'd say my favorite one ever was in Cambodia. We went,
Really?
oh my God, it was like
I've never
some of
been to
the
Cambodia.
best food I've ever had. Like it was
Wow.
like I still talk about it. We did one in Oaxaca in Mexico too, and that was pretty fantastic. So yeah,
Nice.
we'll have to talk later about
Hey,
all our
why
favorite
don't you
food
come to my
tours.
food tour? I would love to take you on a complimentary food tour one day. If I'll send you when we're off this, I'll send you some dates and you can join me.
That would be amazing. I would love to. It doesn't need
Perfect.
to be complimentary, but I would love to talk
Yes.
about it some more. Okay, I have some fun questions for you. So just a few
Okay.
rapid fire questions before we wrap up. So, do you have a favorite hike in the Canadian Rockies?
Yes, Packers Pass Skokie.
Nice, nice. We're actually camping there this summer, so I'm super excited about that.
Perfect.
This one might be hard for you, but do you have a favorite restaurant?
Yes, Good Folk at the Otter Hotel.
Nice, nice. I have some friends coming up. We're actually going to stay there at the end of September.
Really?
So,
Oh,
yeah.
It's the food is spectacular.
Amazing.
So
Yeah,
it,
that's great. What is your favorite paid activity in Banff or Canmore?
I guess like Louis ski area,
Yeah,
skiing.
yep. Great one. So, if you could take a first-time visitor to just one place in the Canadian Rockies, where would you take them?
Wapta Falls.
Wapta Falls is so beautiful.
Love
Agreed.
it.
Yep. And do you see one common mistake visitors make when they're planning their trip?
Yes. They don't book a food tour.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
know, right? Big mistake.
That's a big
Huge.
mistake. All right. I so appreciate you joining me today. I'm like super excited to share this with everybody. Before we wrap up, where can listeners learn more about your tours, book a tour, or follow along?
My website is Nibble Tours. It's nibbletours.com. You can also, so you can book on there, but I'm also on Viator. I'm on Get Your Guide. I'm on Airbnb Experience. And yeah, you can go there and book anytime.
Awesome. Thank you so much again for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me.
There you have it, Nibble Food Tours in Banff. I'll make sure to get all of the links in the show notes for you. If you've done the tour, I'd love to hear from you. I'd also love to know how you liked this interview. As always, you can leave feedback or ask questions at banfftravelplanning.com/podcast. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Banff Travel Podcast. Until next time, see you out on the trails.